Would you like to know what would happen if the Earth had no North Pole or South Pole? And if you think the temperature will drop so low that everything will freeze, then you are wrong. Quite the opposite will happen. The poles are vital for our planet because they maintain the Earth's axis tilt. But the ice caps have been melting at an alarming rate, and the consequences are far-reaching. So what would happen if the North Pole and the South Pole completely melted? Welcome to my channel. Do and forget to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update on the latest science and technology. The ice caps are melting at an alarming rate. According to National Geographic, 90% of the ice cap loss over the past decades has occurred in the Northern Hemisphere. The Arctic Ocean shrinks by 13% per decade due to ice loss. In other words, the world is losing ice 4 times faster than it was 40 years ago. According to researchers at the University of Michigan, most of the Arctic ice loss occurs in the month of September when the sea ice extent drops to its yearly minimum. It is alarming to see that these changes are happening so fast, and it won't be long before we feel their impact. What if all this ice melts completely? Well, let's find out in today's episode. What if all the ice caps melted? As the Earth gets warmer, the ice at the poles melts, which raises sea levels. If all of the ice caps melted, the sea level would rise by about 200 feet or 61 meters. The melting of glaciers and ice sheets is already causing sea levels to rise at a rate of about 3 millimeters per year. And while this may not sound like much, it adds up to about 1.7 inches of sea level rise per decade. That means that by the end of this century, sea levels could be 20 inches higher than they are today. A study published in Nature Climate Change predicts that even if global temperatures rise by only 1 degree Celsius above pre-industrial levels, sea levels will rise by 1 to 2 feet or 30 to 60 centimeters. This is because warmer temperatures will melt more ice, which will add more water to the oceans. If global temperatures rise by 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, sea levels could rise by 2 to 4 feet or 60 to 120 centimeters. And if global temperatures rise by more than 4 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, sea levels could rise by more than 6 feet or 18 meters. Rising sea levels can have a number of impacts on coastal communities. For example, it can cause more frequent and severe flooding, erosion, and storm surges. Additionally, rising sea levels can also lead to saltwater intrusion into freshwater aquifers, which can contaminate the supply of drinking water. The impacts of rising sea levels will be felt most acutely by low-lying island nations and those located along the coast. For example, the Maldives, Kiribati, and Tuvalu are all at risk of being completely submerged if sea levels rise by just a few feet. Weather changes. The ice caps play an important role in regulating the Earth's climate. They reflect a lot of sunlight back into space, which helps to keep the Earth cool. When the ice caps melt, more sunlight is absorbed by the Earth's surface, which heats up the planet. This process is known as the ice albedo feedback loop. It happens because ice and snow reflect more sunlight than water does. As the ice caps melt, the amount of sunlight reflected back into space decreases, which causes the Earth's average temperature to increase. In addition, when the ice caps melt, they release a lot of water vapor into the atmosphere. Water vapor is a greenhouse gas, meaning that it traps heat in the Earth's lower atmosphere. More water vapor in the atmosphere means more heat is trapped and the Earth gets warmer. Both of these effects can lead to more extreme weather events such as hurricanes, floods, and droughts. And while the exact impacts of the melting ice caps will vary depending on where you live, it's clear that we will all feel the effects in one way or another. Disruption of ocean currents. The ice caps play an important role in ocean currents, which are responsible for distributing heat around the globe. When the ice caps melt, the ocean currents are disrupted, which can lead to major changes in weather patterns. For example, the Gulf Stream, which is a current in the Atlantic Ocean that helps to keep Western Europe warm, could be disrupted by melting ice caps, leading to colder temperatures in Europe. The melting of the Arctic ice cap could also lead to major changes in weather patterns in the Arctic region itself. The ice cap reflects a lot of sunlight back into space, which helps to keep the region cool. When the ice cap melts, more sunlight is absorbed by the Earth's surface, which heats up the planet. This process is known as the ice albedo feedback loop. It happens because ice and snow reflect more sunlight than water does. As the ice caps melt, the amount of sunlight reflected back into space decreases, which causes the Earth's average temperature to increase. Changes to wildlife. As the ice caps melt, the habitats of many animals will be destroyed. Polar bears, penguins, and seals rely on the ice caps for hunting and breeding. When the ice caps melt, these animals will have nowhere to go and many of them will die. In addition, the melting of the ice caps will also lead to changes in the distribution of fish and other marine life. This will disrupt the food chain and have a devastating impact on the animals that eat those fish. Impact on humans. The melting of the ice caps will have a profound impact on human civilization. Rising sea levels will inundate coastal cities and force millions of people to migrate. Extreme weather events will become more common, causing widespread damage and loss of life. The disruption of ocean currents will lead to major changes in agriculture production and food security. The loss of habitat for polar bears and other animals will have a devastating impact on the people who rely on those animals for food or who live in areas where those animals are found. The melting of the ice caps is a serious threat to our planet and its inhabitants. If we don't take action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, the ice caps will continue to melt and the consequences will be catastrophic. There are many things that we can do to reduce our impact on the environment and slow down the melting of the ice caps. We can use public transportation, recycle, conserve energy, and reduce our consumption of meat. By making changes in our own lives, we can make a difference for the planet. Ice sheets vs. ice caps. The terms ice sheet and ice cap are often used interchangeably, but there is a distinction between the two. An ice cap is a mass of ice that covers a large area of land, but it doesn't necessarily flow outward like an ice sheet does. Ice caps are typically found at the poles and they can be permanent or seasonal. The Arctic and Antarctic each have an ice cap. The Antarctic ice cap is much larger than the Arctic ice cap. On the other hand, an ice sheet is a thick, massive glacier that covers large expanses of land. Ice sheets are not confined to the poles and they are always flowing. The Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets are the two largest ice sheets on Earth. The Greenland ice sheet covers an area of approximately 2.1 million square kilometers and contains enough ice to raise global sea levels by about 7 meters. The Antarctic ice sheet covers an area of about 14.2 million square kilometers and contains enough ice to raise global sea levels by about 60 meters. Both ice caps and ice sheets play an important role in the Earth's climate system. They reflect a lot of sunlight back into space, which helps to keep the Earth cool. They also store a lot of water, which is released slowly into the atmosphere via a process called ablation. This helps to regulate the Earth's water cycle. However, as the climate warms, both ice caps and ice sheets are melting at an alarming rate. This is a major contributor to rising sea levels and has the potential to cause major disruptions to the Earth's climate system. Do you think the melting of the ice caps is a serious threat to our planet? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something new. If you did, please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.